Chris is cutting a roll of cookie dough. He's cutting a roll of cookie dough. He's doing it into pieces that are a ½ inch thick. Each piece is a ½ inch thick. If the roll is 10½ inches long, how many pieces can he make? Now this one I actually want to set up a visual representation because sometimes some people are visual, I'm visual. It helps me understand what it actually wants from me when I do this. So here's my roll of cookie dough. All right, there's my roll of cookie dough. And they said it's 10½ inches. All right, 10½ inches. Very cool. All right, and now we're going to split that thing up. It says if they are ½ inch thick, each piece. All right, I don't know if this is exactly ½ inch, but it gives me an idea on what I'm trying to do to this thing. All right, so I have a cookie roll. It's 10½ inches long. I'm splitting it up into little pieces that are ½ inch thick each. All right, would I be subtracting to do that, adding, multiplying? What could I do to make that happen? If I'm taking some and I'm splitting it up. Yes, Alexis. Divide. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just divide it. That's what's happening right here. You're dividing it into equal pieces. So you're taking your 10½ and you're dividing it. Now we're dividing it by, let's look up it here again. So he's cutting a roll of cookie dough into pieces that are a ½ inch thick. So divide it by 1/2. All right, and now we can start following our rules. If we have 10½ inch cookie dough, and we're cutting it up into, dividing it, cutting it into pieces that are a ½ inch thick, let's go ahead and do it. Can't have that 10 there. That 10 is in our way. Got to get rid of it. The only way I know to do that, Texas. All right, 2 times 10. Put 20 right above it. That's a placeholder so I don't forget about it. 20 plus that 1 is 21. If you add 20 on the top, you won't get the right answer. Make sure you still add it to that top one. Bottom left top, BLT. All right, 21 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. All right, now I can go ahead and KFC this guy. KFC. 21 over 2 times, flipped from division to times. 1/2 to 2 over 1. There we go. 21 times 2 is 42. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 goes into 42. And if you don't know, denominator at the door, numerator in the house. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, you get 0. Bring down your 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract, you get 0. 21. Look at that. A, 21. So 21 ½ inch thick slices, and that makes sense. If you're splitting something that's 10½, you're going to get about 20, right? Because you got double the amount. If you had 10 pizzas and you split each pizza in half, well, you got 20 halves of a pizza. So 21 makes sense because it was 10½, not just 10. All right. Tammy is making cupcakes for a party. Woo. All right, if she needs 1 2/3 cups of sugar for one batch, how much will she need to make 3 batches? All right. So another one that I like to do visually. She needs 1 1/4 cup of sugar. 2/3 cup. All right. So 1 2/3 cup. 1 2/3 cup of sugar equals 1 batch. All right. Well then, how much for 3 batches? So if this for 1, we need this how many times for 3 batches? Well, we're actually having to figure out. So if it takes a little over a cup for 1 batch, so basically if it's $1 for 1 movie ticket, how many dollars is it for 3 movie tickets? So you just multiply by 3 in your head to get the 3. Yes. So if it's 1 batch is 1 of these, all right, 3 batches is 3 of those. So 1 set is 1 batch, 3 sets would be 3 batches. So we're doing it 3 times. And I'm trying to show you visually too to help you out. So 3 times. All right. So we need it times 3. All that times 3. So that 1 2/3 times 3. That's exactly what we set up. All right, 3 is 3 over 1. Texas. Got to get rid of these whole numbers first. Can't have them. 3 times 1, 3. Plus 2, 5 over 3 times 3 over 1 equals. You can do your cross simplification, but we're going to go ahead this time and not do that. 5 times 3 is 15. Either way, you'll get the right answer. Just some ways save you some time. 3 times 1 is 3. All right, 3 goes into 15. Improper fraction, long division. 3 into 15, 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, you get nothing. So 5. And there we go. How much will she need to make 3 batches? 5 of them. 1 2/3 plus 1 2/3 plus 1 2/3, or 1 2/3 times 3. Both of those equals 5. So you will need 5 cups of sugar to make 3 batches of cupcakes. Susan needs to make costumes for a party. All right, Mark. Hang on. You just stand in the back. Just stand by the way. All right, Susan needs to make costumes for a party. If she needs 3 3/4 yards of fabric for 1, how much will she need for 5? So same kind of deal, guys, same kind of deal. So if you need this much for 1, how much do you need for 5? Well, how many more times is 5 than 1? 5 times. So you need 5 times that. All right, let's look through it again. Susan needs to make costumes for a party. If she needs 3 3/4 yards of fabric for one, how much to make 5? All right, so 3 3/4 is 1. Well, let's times it by 5 to figure out 5. 5 is 5 over 1. All right, Texas. 3/4, we can Texas that. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 3, 15. So that's the only thing that changes. You notice I got rid of my whole number. My numerator changes. Everything else stays the same. Everything else stays the same. You got the 4 on the bottom, on the denominator. You got the numerator of 5 on the other side and denominator 1 on the other side. All right, 15 over 4 times 5 over 1. 15 times 5. If you're not sure, you can write it out. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 75. 75 over 4. That is a huge-headed baby. That is a big, big-headed baby. All right, so we got 75 over the 4. 4 goes into 75. We have to do long division. What's that? Times. All right, 4 goes into 75. Let's figure it out. Denominator at the door, numerator in the house. 4 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, you get 3. Bring down your 5. 4 into 35, 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Subtract, you get 3. All right, so we have 18 3/4. 18 and 3. Remember, remainder is your numerator. Remainder is your numerator. Chant that to yourself while you're sleeping. I don't care. Whatever you got to do. Remainder is your numerator. Denominator doesn't change. Denominator doesn't change. It's that number on the outside. Denominator doesn't change. Divisor. All right. Last one. Last one, guys. Doing great. All right. Tom has 15 feet of lumber. All right. Here's my lumber. 15 feet. All right. He will need to cut the lumber into pieces that are 1 2/5 feet. All right, how many pieces will he be able to cut from that 15 feet lumber? All right, so you see I went visual on this one too. I like visual when we can do it. And a lumber, that makes it easy. It's a log. So I made a large log. I said it's 15 feet. This is my 15-foot log. Well, hey, if you look at a couple of problems earlier, you might notice there's a cookie dough one. Pretty similar. All right, so 15 feet, and we're splitting it up into pieces that are 1 2/5 feet. 1 2/5 feet. So it says we're splitting it. Splitting it is dividing it. Splitting it is dividing it. All right. So 15 divided by 1 2/5. All right, first of all, 15 has to be 15 over 1. 1 2/5, not going to let it do that. Can't have that 1 out there, so we have to Texas. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 7 over 5, 15 over 1 doesn't change. Everything else the same. Now we can KFC. 15 over 1 divided by 7 over 5, KFC. Let's do it. Keep 15 over 1. Flip. Division to multiplication. Change 7 over 5 to 5 over 7, the reciprocal. All right, now we can go ahead and just multiply across. 15 times 5, well, we did that in the last problem. That was 75. 1 times 7 is 7. Same kind of deal. This time we have to put 7 in the 75 instead of 4 in a 75, like we did on the last one. 7 goes in there one time. 1 times 7 is 7. Remember, does McDonald's sell burgers? DMSB. All right, 7 minus 7 is 0. Bring down your 5. All right, 7 goes in the 5 0 times. 0 times 7, 0. Subtract, you get 5. So 10 and 5 sevenths.